Go. Good morning, class.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you doing?
We are good, and
I'm
you?
good, thanks. For today's lesson, we are going to be joined by Mr. Lipiri.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lipiri.
Yes, for today's lesson, we are going to focus on doing passive and active voice, which is a topic that you did in your previous class in grade 10. Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I want to ask a question before we start dwelling into the topic. Can you think of a situation in your community where it is appropriate to use a passive voice rather than an active voice? Can you think of a situation in your community? Let's start here. Passive and active. Passive is
Using an object as a subject.
and then active is
Use a subject, verb, and object.
yes. Now, can you think of a situation in your community where it is appropriate to use a passive voice, meaning where it is appropriate to start by the object first instead of the active? Can you think of such a situation?
Yes.
You can, right?
She cooked. There's no need for us to know who cooked.
Now, let me introduce the active voice. Active voice. When we talk about the active voice, it's when the subject of a sentence performs the action of the verb. Active voice is when the subject performs the action of the verb. Let me give you an example of a sentence. A sentence that we can use as an example in the active voice is Sipho kicks the ball. Now, Sipho, what is Sipho? Is Sipho a subject? Is he a verb? Is he an object?
Subject.
He's a subject, I guess. Kicks the ball. Between kicks and the ball, what is our object?
The ball.
The ball.
What is our verb?
Our verb is kicks.
It's kicks, right? So when you write an active voice, you begin with the subject, the verb, the object. Another sentence that we can use as an example is Andrew wrote a letter. What is our subject in this sentence?
And
Andrew is our subject. What action is Andrew doing?
writing.
Writing, meaning our verb is wrote. What is the object that Andrew is using within the sentence? The letter, right? The third sentence that we have is the university sent an invitation letter. University is
The
The
subject,
subject.
sent is
The verb.
the verb, letter is
Object.
the object. Now, what is the importance of teaching an active voice? Why do we use an active voice? Why do you think we use an active voice? We use an active voice when we want to make use of a simple sentence. Sipho kicks the ball. It's a simple sentence that any learner in any grade can integrate and understand. That is the reason why we use an active voice. Mr. Lipiri will continue furthermore with the passive voice so that you can link between the two voices. Take over, Mr. Lipiri.
Moving forward to passive voice, let's check the structure of the passive voice. You know, with the active voice, we have our structure is the subject, verb, and object. But with the passive voice, we start with the object, then verb, then lastly subject. We have this sentence here: Sipho kicks the ball. Let's change this sentence together. The ball was kicked by Sipho. So I'm gonna give Kamokelo this sentence to change it to passive voice. Andrew wrote a letter.
A letter was written by him.
Yes. A letter was written by him. Our subject became the object, then our object became the subject. Then the second sentence will be changed by Ireko. Ireko, your sentence is: the university sent an invitation letter.
Invitation letter was sent to
An invitation letter was sent by the university. The simplest strategy on changing active voice to passive voice, what you can just do on your active voice sentence, identify your subject, your verb, then the object. Then you'll be able to change that sentence into passive Why do we use passive voice? We use passive voice when we don't know the doer or the subject of the sentence. Also, we want to emphasize what happened and who did it. That's the reason why we use active voice. And to sound more formal. And passive voice, it's used on academic writing, when reporting, and I'm gonna give you this activity. On the given paragraph, change the entire paragraph into passive voice. Thank you. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to do that.